Welcome back to another episode. And today I want to talk to you about options. So, today we're going to talk about something that it might sound simple, but it's actually one of the biggest spiritual blocks that we have, or that I see in women who are called to be leaders and to walk in purpose. And that illusion of choice, that we have a choice, and that choir whispers that it says, you can always do it later, or you're not ready yet. How you're going to do that? Maybe right now it's not the right season. But when it comes to walking in God's purpose, it's not about having a choice. You don't have a choice. You have a calling, and there is a difference of that, not choices. You're no longer looking for choices. For a long time, I thought I had choices. Do I step into my next level, or do I stay in the comfortable? Do I have a story to share, or should I keep it private? Do I trust God to control everything, or do I do it myself? But every time I delay the obedience, I delay my destiny. I thought I was protecting myself, but I wasn't. What I was really resisting, it was what God it was calling me to do and what He wrote for me. I was resisting what the Creator's purpose was for me. One day I heard it so clearly in a prayer. Stop asking if you should. I already told you what to do. And that changed for me. That's when I realized something so powerful. Obedience isn't a burden, it's a liberation that it comes from the Creator. When you remove the illusion of choice, you finally walk into clarity. When you stop debating whether you should or you shouldn't do your calling, you start partnering with heaven. That's when everything changes. So here's the truth that I live by now: God's purpose plus surrender will plus faithful obedience equals divine fulfillment. That's not a formula, that's alignment. It means you know what God is calling you to do. You only real job, because you have a job you have to do, is to say yes. Yes, even when it's hard, even when you don't know how to do it, even when it's inconvenient, when it requires faith because you never had to use it before. Because sometimes we say, I have faith, I believe in God, I believe that what He's got for me, it's great. But when it's come time to really walk in it, we hesitate and say, no, I don't know if this is for me. How am I going to do this? And I remember when I was rebuilding my cleaning business, it was a very difficult season. Everything in me wanted just to pause and say, I just need a break from all of this. Until I felt ready, until I have the money, until I have the connections, until I can figure it all out. But God said, no more waiting. You got to keep moving, because this business is not about income, it's about impact, it's about teaching you, it's about you. You think it's about the business, but it's not about the business. It's about you and the impact that you will have on others. So I give up my illusion of choice. I surrender my strategy to Him. I said, okay, no more looking for other options, no more looking for strategies. And I start showing up differently, praying every time, speaking life over my clients, over their homes, over the people that I connected with, building from peace instead of panic. That's when the doors that I did not knock on, they begin to open. That's when the divine connections begin to show up out of nowhere. I was even surprised about it because the moment that I stopped resisting and start obeying, heaven began to open. Heaven began to move faster than I could ever do. So choice sometimes sounds empowering. And it's a good word. And we even want those things when somebody tells us, well, you have a choice. We begin to think it's something good. Sometimes now I think when people tell me you have a choice, I look at it, no, I really don't have a choice. I have what God wants me to do. Because that's when you realize, do you either choose something or you obey? And choices sometimes is delayed because you have to think about it. But when you obey what God is telling you to do, it's no delay, it's action. And that's sometimes when choices become a thief that it steals the momentum, that it steals the peace, and that it steals miracles waiting to happen. Because on the other side, it's just waiting for your yes. But because now you're thinking about it, that yes is starting to delay. And in that delay, sometimes it never happened because now you became fearful about it. Comfort can be dangerous and it can cause somebody to fail. God doesn't need you to be comfortable, He needs you to be committed to Him. And committing begins where choices end. When it's no longer choices, but it's a calling, it's a mission, it's a purpose, that's when everything begins. When you're obeying what the Creator has meant for you. So today I want to ask you something. Where are you still think that you have a choice that God never gave you? God never gave you that choice, but you think that you still have choices. Where are you negotiating your freedom, your purpose? Maybe it is in launching a program. Maybe it is in sharing your story. Maybe it is in a relationship. Whatever it is, I want you to remember this. You were never meant to play small. So stop looking for choices. Do not allow choices to keep you in the same place. You were called to walk anointed, fully in your process, even when it costs your comfort. So let this be a reminder today. God's purpose plus surrender will plus faithful in obedience equals divine fulfillment. So you don't have to force the results. You don't need to say yes again because you are now not walking in choices. You stop treating your calling as an option. You are finally seeing the miracles. You're finally seeing the mission. That mission is waiting for your obedience. It's waiting for your yes. If this message spoke to your heart and you think it's someone out there waiting for a sign to move, to take the next step, and remember their yes, share this podcast with someone because your yes is someone else's breakthrough. I see you next time. Keep going and keep saying yes to God's mission. Don't take the options of choice. Take the obedience to God's mission for you, to His purpose.